Martin came in to me with a decent period of time of hip pain that was worsening, and it was limiting his function and his ability to compete and his ability to perform at a high level, at least the level that I think he demands of himself.
I started to have pretty bad hip pain, and it lasted for several months to the point where I wasn't really able to build up my mileage, and we didn't really know what was wrong. We took a lot of time off, tried to come back, and it wasn't really we weren't able to build any steam. It carried on through the fall until I eventually decided to get an MRI.
He started getting really frustrated, which I understood. He had worked with the athletic trainers. He had tried to manage it conservatively and do rehab and exercises and modify his activities to some degree, but it wasn't helping. And when he finally came in the office and I looked at his x-rays and his MRI, that was when I kind of spoke to him saying, look, I don't think this is going to get better, unfortunately, just by managing it conservatively and by exercises and modifications. You have this issue called hip impingement, in which you have this mismatch of the bones in the hip joint. And you had some tearing of the labrum, which is this piece of cartilage in the hip joint.
After meeting with Tabador, we kind of discussed a few of the options I had, one of which was surgery, and that's ultimately where we decided to go.
I spoke to him, I said, look, I understand that you're a collegiate athlete, but I'm not doing this just to help improve your college career in athletics. I'm doing this to improve your quality of life for the years after you're done with college athletics.
Initially, it took a long road to get to this point, right? It was, I think, 3 weeks on crutches, and then 4 weeks of no running, and then kind of a long process of slowly building up from there. I didn't compete for a year after it.
The critical component of surgery is not being absent when surgery is done. I think the tendency is to say, okay, I've did my part, now it's time for you to do your part. It's a team effort, so I need to be there until the very end. And that means being available for them and making sure that they're not hitting any roadblocks, they're not hitting any obstacles. And I think it's really important to know that I can continue to counsel them and guide them, because half the battle is the surgery. The other half is the rehab and the recovery, the psychological component, the physical component.
The rehab process is pretty long and tedious, and it's a lot of small work that is not rewarding at all in the slightest. But after once you're finally able to get back out there, it just makes it that much sweeter. So once this past year and even the year last year, just kind of seeing like the fruit of the labor kind of come out has been huge.
I didn't know that a 4-minute mile was on the radar, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that if someone was going to do it, it was going to be Martin.
With the road that we had coming here, it couldn't be any more special. I think doing it at Brown made it pretty huge. I got a lot of messages from alumni and people I'd never even met just kind of congratulating me and kind of sharing that moment. And just having that long journey that it's been, you know, two plus years of just after the surgery, just kind of grinding and like putting my head down. It's made it really special. And it was nice to get an email. I got an email from Tabador actually, I think a little bit after I broke it, just congratulating me, and sharing that moment with him was pretty awesome as well, since he kind of played a big role in making it possible.
It's a great memory for me. I'm proud to be part of it. That accomplishment is his and his alone. He worked really hard for that. I don't want to take any credit for it. I'm happy that I was able to help him with his hip and get him back on the streets, but he's the one who put in all the hard work to make that happen.